Today on Monson Made This, we are throwing jackfruit on the grill. Today we are going to be making Chilorio tacos, and I'm going to be trying to make most of everything from scratch. We're using jackfruit as our meat, and we're going to be cooking that almost entirely on the barbecue. We have two sauces that's going to go with that, the sauce that it'll actually cook in, and we have a cashew crema. Now this month, July, I'm going to be going plastic free, or at least trying to, so this recipe was a little bit inspired by that. Most all of the ingredients can be purchased without using any extra plastic at all, so that's a bonus, and I'll be talking more about that as the month continues. But let's get back to these tacos. So I've opened up this can of jackfruit, and I'm just going to drain it into the sink. And I have a baking dish here. This is, I believe, 8 by 8, and I already have a half of a red onion just cut into half. So this is what's going to be going on the grill. My jackfruit. If you've never had jackfruit, I was never a really big fan of jackfruit as meat. I never thought that it worked out right. Thought that it was always too soggy, too soft, and has been described at once like cooked pineapple. But cooking it on the grill and letting it get a little bit dried out and crispy, and then cooking it in the sauce on the grill, I think really helps out the texture, and it's a really incredible meat, especially for this taco dish. So these jackfruit pieces I got from Trader Joe's. This is actually my favorite one currently. It's in brine, it's young jackfruit. You don't want to use any that's in syrup. You want to make sure that it's young in brine. So looks like this as it comes out of the can. This I'm going to be taking outside and throw these on the grill just to do their first grilling up step. So I'll meet you outside. Shout out to Nick Lachey. It is currently 98 degrees outside here in Las Vegas. I'm standing next to my grill, which rarely gets used, but we're going to be using it today. It's been preheating on high. I've only got half of the grill actually currently heating up, and I'm going to put my jackfruit directly onto this grill. I haven't oiled it or anything. If you did want to oil it, you definitely could, but you're gonna be okay without. I'm also gonna be adding my onions. And in addition to it being heated up onto high, I'm actually going to be cooking these on medium. The onions here are gonna be going into the sauce that the jackfruit is going to be simmering in, and putting them on the grill just gives them a nice charred flavor as well. These are gonna cook for 10 minutes in total, 5 minutes on each side. So that gives me some time to go back inside and make one of the sauces that's gonna go on top. All right, the jackfruit is on the grill. We have just about 5 minutes or so here to make this first sauce before I go out there and flip those. And this is going to be a cashew-based crema. Now, I do like a good tofu sauce, but as I said, I'm gonna be doing plastic-free this July. So tofu is normally packaged in plastic. So I was able to get cashews in the bulk bin, and I have a cup of those right here. To that, to make this crema, and because it's gonna be Mexican flavors, I'm gonna be using lime. So depending on how juicy your lime is, this one's not super juicy, so I'm gonna be using an entire lime in here. You want probably 2 tablespoons worth. So I'm just squeezing that lime directly in here. And then I have a half cup of water. You may need a little bit more depending. And I have not soaked these cashews. I've been using this NutriBullet. I'm in love with it. I haven't actually taken out my Vitamix since I borrowed this, but I'm adding some salt here. And if your blender is high powered enough, you really don't need to soak the cashews ahead of time. So throw the lid on and let it go. All right, let's give it a taste. Make sure my salt levels are good. Make sure that it's ground nicely. Beautiful, perfect consistency. And I'm going to be pouring it in this bowl. Pouring it in this squeeze bottle. Yes, it is plastic. Again, the plastic I'm avoiding is the single-use plastic. I've reused this a million times. So I'm gonna pour it into this squeeze bottle, which is gonna make my life a lot easier if I can get it into the squeeze bottle. when I apply these to the tacos. Look at that beautiful creamy texture. It's been 5 minutes. Let's give these a check. What we're looking for, you see those nice grill marks here. That's all we're looking for. Again, a little bit dried out to help them absorb the sauce that we're about to make. And as you can see, when they get seared enough, they flip right over on the grill. All right, 5 more minutes. Come back out and check those. Jackfruit is on the grill for their second 5 minutes, and while that's happening, I'm gonna be setting up the sauce that the jackfruit's actually gonna be simmering in. We will need the onion off the grill to finalize this sauce, but I'm just gonna get the ingredients ready. So back into a Magic Bullet cup, I have 4 cloves of garlic. My seasonings here, I have a tablespoon of oregano. I have some more of that ghost pepper powder because I'm kind of obsessed with it. Some cumin and some smoked salt. You could just use regular salt if you don't have smoked salt. The entire recipe is of course going to be on monsonmadethis.com, and I'll have that linked below. Here's some Bragg's liquid aminos. I'm going to be actually using 2 teaspoons of this better than bouillon. You can adjust the salt to your own taste, but I think that the extra salt there at the beginning, as well as the Bragg's liquid amino, really help to carry the flavor of this dish. So 2 teaspoons of that better than bouillon. Let me rinse my finger really quick. Okay, these in this pot here are dried ancho chilies, and they've been hanging out in this boiling water for about 10 minutes. So I'm just gonna be adding these directly to this blender cup. And if you want to remove the seeds, you can. They do contain a little bit of heat, but not too many. And the last thing we're going to need after these chili peppers is actually a cup of this liquid that they have been soaking in. And I'm going to do that over the sink as to not make a huge mess. All right, we'll go out and check on the jackfruit and the onion, come back, finish up the sauce, and get it ready to go back out on the grill. All right, second 5 minutes is up. They're nicely seared on the other side. So I'm just gonna be removing everything to this 8x8 inch baking dish, which is super hot from being out here in the sun, and the onions, which are going to go in that sauce we just set up. All right, so do not turn off your grill. The simmering part is gonna be happening on this directly. I am just gonna turn it down a little bit to probably just above low. I want it to be about 400 degrees in there when I cook it. So let's go back inside. I have my jackfruit and onions in from outside. I've got my sauce set up and ready to go, minus the onions. So let's drop the grilled onions into the blender cup here, and we're just gonna puree this until it is nice and smooth. I just want to give this a little taste. So good. Okay, I'm really excited now. All right, next step is to put it onto the jackfruit. These have had a chance to cool down slightly while I prepared the sauce, and now I'm just breaking these up with my hands. I'm trying to get them into small chunks. I don't want them completely broken apart, but just into nice chunks that are going to resemble the pork that we're trying to go for here. So as you can see, the barbecue process has given it a nice char, which is going to give it some nice crispy edges, just a nice texture, impart a smoky flavor. And already you can see this is just resembling a pulled meat product of some sort. There are some seeds that you may find in here. Those do ruin the illusion a little bit of meat. They look kind of like alien pods. So if you see one of those, just take it out, but like that. Oh, you know what? I'm not even gonna take it out. There it is, broken up, we're good. This recipe easily doubles, triples. I'm just making it with 1 can, but double the sauce, double the jackfruit. There you go. All right, that looks good. Pouring the sauce directly onto it. Seems like a lot now, but the jackfruit's nice and dried out from the grill, so it's gonna absorb a lot of the sauce. Stir it together. Seems like a lot of sauce now, almost too much sauce, but trust me, it's gonna cook down, coat the jackfruit, get absorbed. All right, that looks good. Let's take it out onto the grill. All right, we have two options here with the grill. We have the side that has the heat coming out of it and the side that does not have heat coming out of it. I'm going to use the direct heat side on low. It's gonna maintain about 350 to 400 degrees in here. If I wanted to, if I notice it's cooking up too fast or getting too charred, I would put it on the side that doesn't have the heat, cook it indirectly, still keeping the internal temperature of the grill about 400 degrees. So I'm gonna check this every 10 minutes, stir it up. It's probably gonna take about 30 to 40 minutes. So let's go back inside and talk about accessories before we start to make the tortillas. All right, so in addition to the cream sauce that we made, I have some pickled onions here. This is just a half of a red onion that I've been pickling in vinegar, water, some salt and sugar. I do have the full recipe posted below, but I made this last night just so it would have a chance to marinate. Next thing I'm gonna make is a very quick slaw. So I have a half head of cabbage here. It's actually a nice small head, and I'm going to be thinly slicing this, basically as thin as I can, trying to make sure that I don't get super long pieces. I'm gonna just turn it every so often to make sure that I'm getting shorter pieces. All right, I'm going to put this into a bowl. Probably should have used a slightly bigger bowl, but I'll make it work. Really simple slaw. You can make this in advance. You can make it right before you're serving. The acidity will die down a little bit if you let it set longer, but I'm gonna be adding the juice of, I'm gonna go for a full lime here. Again, my limes aren't that juicy today. Plus I want the nice bright acidity. And then to that, I'm just gonna add a bit of salt. Toss this with my hands and let it hang out. My last accessory here are going to be some radishes. These just add a nice spicy pepperiness, and I'm cutting this on a small mandolin. You could obviously cut these by hand. And you just want a few of these per taco. A little bit of green in there, but there we go. Those are gonna be perfect to go on top. Just add a bit of crunch, spiciness. All right, let's go outside and check those jackfruits. Okay, these have been on here for 10 minutes. Let's check it out. You can see it's nice, bubbling, simmering, and I just want to give this a stir. This is going to be reducing, it's going to caramelize, and my barbecue is maintained about a 375 temperature here. One of the things I was worried about when trying to reduce my plastic use was things like tortillas. How am I gonna buy tortillas? They seem to always be in plastic packaging. So I'm gonna try to make my own here. And here I have 2 cups of masa flour and 1.5 cups of water. And I'm just following the directions that were actually on the bag that the masa came in. Stir this together. If I need more water, I'll check the texture and see if I need to add more water or not. This is gonna form a nice dough, or should, if I have enough water. And then I'm gonna be forming tortillas using about 2 tablespoon portions of this. And I have a tortilla press, which I'll show you in just a minute, that I did have to buy extra, but if this is a lifestyle that I'm planning on going into, trying to reduce my waste, then I'm gonna have to make tortillas. So I thought it was a pretty good investment. So this is a little bit too dry, so I'm gonna be adding some more water. All right, it looks pretty good. It's holding together. So now I'm gonna portion it into balls with 2 tablespoons worth of the masa, and then I'll be ready to press and grill my tortillas. I'm just gonna be using this coffee scoop, which is exactly 2 tablespoons, and this is gonna help me to portion out the balls. You want them to be pretty consistent so that your tortillas are all the same size. But if they're off slightly, that just makes them look more homemade, which they are. All right, I have my balls of masa all rolled out, and I'm just going to cover them with a wet towel, or a moist towel, I should say. And I'm just gonna set this aside. I have to run outside and check the jackfruit one more time, and then I'll come back and actually press and grill these tortillas. It is the 4th of July weekend, so there are some neighborhood sounds you may be hearing, but it just adds to some spirit in the air. This has been 20 minutes. Just gonna give this another stir. And this looks like it's pretty much, also my dogs are enjoying the neighbors as well. So I'm gonna give these probably, I think maybe only another 5 minutes or so. They look like they're pretty much done. I've had them over direct heat, so they've cooked a lot quicker. So let's just let these hang out for 5 more minutes. We'll start the tortillas, come back, and then we're pretty much ready to go. All right, it is time to make the tortillas. So I have the balls of masa all ready to go. They're hydrated. This is the tortilla press I was talking about, and I have a couple or one sheet of parchment paper folded up in here. Now this is a bit of a process, but once you get started, it goes really quickly. So I have a griddle here that's heated up. It's pretty much as high as it'll go. This is where I'll be cooking them. They're gonna cook for about 30 seconds. Flip it over 30 seconds, flip it over 30 seconds, then they're done. And they're gonna go here into this towel to kind of steam and finish cooking and to stay pliable. If you cook them for too long, they're gonna get brittle, they'll fall apart. So you really wanna cook them on a higher heat as kind of quickly as possible. So let's dig in. All right, so I'm going to grab one of these balls here, make sure it's nice and rounded out, into the press. Do this one so you can see it here. Into the press, put the ball in the middle, cover it up, and press. Parchment paper works really well for this. It'll help you to remove the tortillas. And that one broke, but it's fine, we'll keep going. Show you one more before I really get into the swing of things. And you can use this parchment paper the entire time. You don't have to switch it up. Do one more here. As easy as that. Let me get something to flip these. And as they're cooking, you can just keep making more and more. I only got through 3 tortillas. I have to run out there, grab the jackfruit, it's ready to go, but that'll be able to hang out while I finish the rest of these. So let's head back outside for the last time. All right, last 5 minutes are up. You can see these are beautifully absorbed. They've absorbed all of the sauce, got some crispiness even. So this is definitely ready to come off. So I'm gonna shut off the grill and shut off the gas, take this inside and finish up my tortillas. I'm just going to finish up a few more of these tortillas before I show you the finished product. We have all of the components ready to go. It's time to assemble. So let's do it. I'm gonna grab one of my tortillas, and I'm just gonna make one for you here today so that I can eat it in front of you. But obviously you'd probably wanna assemble quite a few of these for your guests or let them make their own. So I have my one tortilla right here, this beautiful jackfruit. I mean, just look at that. Remember when I said I was a person that couldn't stand jackfruit? I didn't understand it. I get it now. I actually haven't had it like this. I mean, I feel like I've made it better than any other time that I've ever had it, so. Anyways, slaw. This is just gonna add a nice bit of brightness and crunch to this because the jackfruit is pretty tender. So put some nice slaw on top there. Also for crunch and a little bit of pepperiness, I have some of these radishes that I thinly sliced. Some pickled onions, which add just a nice bit of brightness. I did end up slicing up some jalapenos on the mandolin. Actually, let me add those afterwards. Next thing is our crema. This is our cashew sauce that we made. Don't be shy with that. And then I'm going to add some of these finely sliced jalapenos to the top. And remember, I did add some of that ghost pepper powder to the jackfruit, so that's going to have a bit of spice as well. I'm ready to dig in. Look how beautiful this is. Notice that these are smaller, kind of bite-size, not bite-size, but street taco size. Obviously, you could make this into a burrito. You could use other tortillas. So the size is up to you, but let's give it a taste. You can taste everything. You can taste the spiciness and the richness of that jackfruit. It truly is a convincing, like, pulled pork or pulled chicken. The slaw, everything else on top is very nice and acidic and bright. The spice comes through. It's incredible. So definitely give this a try. And I think it's great that you can make it outside on the barbecue. You don't have to heat up really anything inside. If you bought your own tortillas, or even if you make them inside, the house isn't gonna get too heated up at all. But your friends are gonna love these. I actually served them to a friend last night to kind of give some feedback on the testing of this recipe, and he said he would order them again. So that's coming from an omnivore. Anyways, I'm gonna finish this taco. I'm so excited. I'm gonna make a few more and stuff my face. This is actually pretty oil-free, even gluten-free. So if you have any dietary restrictions, it's all right here as well. So give this a thumbs up if you liked it. Follow this channel. Watch my other videos. Follow me on Instagram at monsonmadethis. As I said, I'm trying to do a plastic-free July, so stay tuned to this channel for more information about that. This dish could pretty much be made without using any plastic or any single-use plastic, so that's a plus as well. So I will see you next time with another recipe video, and I'll see you around with more talk about my plastic-free July. So have a great one, have a great 4th of July, and I'll see you around. Après ça un petit rôle, après ça un rôle plus grand, et tout à coup